So how do we make sure it doesn't replace heat? As a result of this, we need to be aware of this and stay ahead of the competition. Today, we have a presenter on a call to lead the conversation by the name of Dr. Adiola Olubamiji, also known as Dr. Addy. Dr. Adiola Olubamiji holds a PhD in biomedical engineering with a specialization in additive manufacturing and engineering physics related to advanced X-ray imaging. Her work experiences includes additive manufacturing for aerospace applications and biomedical research, instrumentation, and controls for oil and gas. He is the founder of STEM Hub Foundation in Canada, which provides STEM education through free creative and hands-on skill development programs. And also she is a career coach. She loves to travel and has been to a total of 23 countries. Thank you again, Dr. Addy. Please begin.
Thank you for having me, and I'm very, very pleased to be here. I'd like to share my screen if it's okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Aya, for already defining Industry 4.0. So I don't have to go over the definition any longer. Thank you for doing that. So I want to take us on a journey of how we got to 4.0, because there'll be no 4.0 if we didn't start from 1.0. Industry 1.0 started as far back as 1784. This was at a point where a whole lot of the work that was done was really very manual. There were discussions, especially between farmers and people trying to transport products from one point to the other on what is it that we can do to make our work more effective. So this brought about the introduction of steam engines, steam power, water power, and mechanization to especially enable farming-related businesses and manufacturing. This technique and technology really stayed from 1784 to about 1870. As you see there, we had almost 100 years before we transitioned from 1.0 to 2.0. At 2.0, there was improvement in terms of introduction of electricity, mass production, assembly lines, and different things to further enhance manufacturing, agriculture, and different processes to make the human lives a lot easier. From 1870 to about 1960, we stayed in the Industry 2.0 era, utilizing these techniques to bring about new things to life, like having a car made, like transporting goods from one place to the other, like having to use electrics to help our train, which was steam related, to do a better job. But at the point where we had to, we were thinking about how do we maximize the electricity that we have? Then that is when we introduced computers at 3.0. If you're on this call today, you're 50 years old or 45 years old, you may remember a point where there was no computer and everything was done using a typewriter. Because of how cumbersome and how hard the use of typewriters was, there was need for something better, especially because we have electricity. From 1969 to 2000 or 2010, we really utilize our computers. From computers, we also have mobile phones being created, GSMs, and small robots started to erupt from here and there. All of this made manufacturing extremely attractive. It makes our processes a whole lot faster. And there we see that we can only get better from 3.0 to a point where we can have communication between multiple systems, where multiple robots can work together to make our lives easier. So this brought about the Industry 4.0 era, where we will have cyber physical, where we can even talk to Alexa and tell Alexa, Alexa, can you put on the TV? Can you put off the TV? Where we can really be at home and manufacturing will be growing up in your workplace without you really participating, where lights out facility becomes a thing. With all of this, we realize that more data definitely will be generated. So cloud computing, cybersecurity become some things that we're looking at. All right, in year 2011, there was a discussion in Germany by a group of people who were really getting aware about what does Industry 4.0 look like? And that is how they named it Industry 4.0. Here are 9 areas that today people are looking at to help their businesses go forward, to help manufacturing processes be more transparent, agile, and connective. One of them is advanced robotics. So we went from just having small robots and small scale to really having cobots, which are robots talking to one another, talking to humans, participating on the shop floor without interruptions. Then we have additive manufacturing, which is one of the areas that will replace manufacturing, especially in automotive or aerospace industries, where casting, forging, and machining are very popular. We have augmented reality helping us to make predictions, helping us to make sure that our supply chain is taken care of in a way where we have barcodes replacing numbers, simulation, horizontal and vertical integration, Internet of Things, cloud computing, cybersecurity, and big data and analytics. I'm very sure that most of you are familiar with these terms. You think they're very boogie, they're very techy. But one thing that is constant is when you look around you, when you look in your vicinity, everything is changing. Look at the size of our mobile phone, how it has changed in the last 10 years. Look at the way we bank today, how it has changed in the last 10 years. Look at the way we go to school and get education, how everything is moving digitally. Myself and you can no longer say that digital is a thing of the future. It is a thing of now. So it's time to actually embrace it instead of believing it's for the engineers. It's for us. We're utilizing it. So we better get with it to know how does this really help us, or how do we get ahead of the competition and make this a thing that can give us competitive advantage. I group these 9 technologies into 4 buckets based on wherever you are in your career, whatever you do. So there is the connectivity, data, and computational power that this brings to us. So the areas that focus on is when you're thinking about sensors that goes into human body, sensors that goes into your phone, sensors that goes into different parts of the houses to sense things, whether there is movement and stuff like that. Internet of Things, cloud technology, and blockchain. Blockchain has become a very critical part of everything we do. How we save our money, our health data, all of these are using blockchain to make sure that they are not only personal, that they are kept in a way where we can access it, and service providers can access it, and it's still very secure. Analytics and intelligence is an area that is definitely taking over the service industry. So if you're a nurse, you are in the fintech industry, services are getting more intelligent. We're using these different technologies to make an intelligent decision about what service should we offer, how do we interact with our customer, how transparent can we get? Are our customers getting personalized service? This is a very important bucket for anyone who is thinking about the fact that I'm a service provider. I'm thinking of how does technology affect me? The third one is advanced engineering. This is where I belong. Mechanical engineers really fall into this bucket a whole lot. Mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, anyone really engineers who are thinking about how can I contribute. This is a bucket where we really fall alongside the human machine interface, where robots and all of those different things are going to really make a whole lot of impact. Sometimes I say this is something of the future, but I wonder whether I'm already living in the future, meaning that I do additive manufacturing. When these technologies started erupting about 5 years ago, as you can see on here, this shows how many technologies started in the last 5 years. If this chart was actually in 2015, for 5 years, we have started a whole lot of new technologies, a lot of new things such as additive manufacturing, smart dust, new organs are being created using 3D printing, quantum computing, which means crunching data in microseconds. Smart devices are being created. All of these things, wearable devices, automated payments, all of these things, natural languages, all of these have happened and have really left a whole lot of Black people behind. Why? Because we keep saying, this is not ours. This is something of the future. Whereas people are developing this technology, they're cashing in on millions, on billions, and we're still thinking it's in the future. Right, yeah, you see the shape of this curve shows the hype that we've had in the last 5 years. But we're at a point where it's no longer an hype. It's now at a point where some technologies are dropping off, but some are actually going to be here as part of our lives. All right, how is this going to affect me and you? There are 7 areas or 8 areas that I've listed out here where we will feel the impact of Industry 4.0. One of them is how we're being governed today. That is going to really be affected. If you live in the US now, there is voting by mail, where if you're on Instagram, something prompts to let you know that you should register to be a voter. They're collecting our information remotely. If you live in Canada, recently the Canadian government released an app for COVID-19, where we can do contact tracing of people using this app. How we are governed is definitely going to be affected by Industry 4.0. How we do business is already been affected. A whole lot of the businesses right now are transitioning all the services online, the kind of interaction we provide to our customers, the kind of services we provide, personalizing those services, being transparent with our services, how they make payments, all of those are going to be affected under this regime. Now, the third area is people, how people interact, our work, our career. A whole lot of people are looking for jobs on LinkedIn. You are interacting on social media, how we relate with one another, who we are, how we relax. All of this are being affected already by Industry 4.0, and it will only get better from there. On the business front, manufacturing, healthcare, financial services, public safety, energy and utilities, all of these different areas are already feeling the impact of Industry 4.0. The question that I have for you today is, what field are you in? Do you fall in any of these buckets? How is this already affecting what you do today? Is there any effect that you can point at that wasn't there 5 years ago that is now there today? Are you at the forefront of it? Or it belongs to some other people while you have been doing the same thing for 10 years? One thing I know for sure is that if you don't get with time, you're going to be like Kodak. You're going to be left behind. So we need to start to ask those questions. Today, I have prepared a couple of case studies for us to go through, look at those case studies and how things have changed. I'm going to start with how digital marketing has taken over traditional marketing. Traditional marketing meaning going to trade fair to advertise your program, looking for Beyonce to come and be in your music video, in your video or jingle for advertising your product so everyone can buy it, or really printing flyers. All of those things are gradually becoming a thing of the past. Yes, people still do TV promos, they still do radio jingles, they still use trade shows, but we have come to a conclusion that all of these methods are oftentimes expensive, and all of these programs are things that require a whole lot of capital or human capital to actually be able to put together anything. With digital marketing, we've seen evolution of how things have changed, especially with social media, from the point where we have www, where myself and you had our first Google mail, to the point where we are now, where everything is app related. On your Instagram, you can buy a product and pay with Apple Pay today. All of those things have changed how we interact with products, what we buy, and consumers have been targeted by marketers to buy a whole lot of things. If you own a business today, you probably have a website. And if you have a website, I've put together a little package here for you to look at. If you are trying to market a product, what do you need? If you're a professional here today, maybe you've studied marketing in school, or you studied HR, or you studied communication, and you are thinking, I've been looking for a job and I'm not really finding a job. One of the most lucrative jobs in the US and Canada today is digital marketing. This is an area that I believe you can adapt your career to, and it doesn't need you going back to school again. You can adapt it by learning those basic skills that are required for you to be competitive. If you're a business owner today, how are you marketing your product? Do you have a website? On your website, are you using some of these things? Like, how is your form like? What does your landing page look like? Do you send thank you notes? All of these things are changing how consumers interact with your product, whether they buy your product, whether you turn that visit to your website to a lead or to a sale. It depends on how strong your digital marketing portfolio is. I have tons of slides, so I probably will skip a couple of things. If you're interested in digital marketing, you may want to take a picture of this. I have some useful information here talking about the different infrastructure that you need and how digital marketers really kind of work. All right, moving on. What are the top skills that a digital marketer should have? I listed them here: analytics, mobile marketing, content marketing, social media, management, email marketing, marketing automation, SEO optimization, and digital advertising. Here are the critical elements. If you're thinking, I want to transition career into digital marketing, or I'm a business owner, I'm trying to really improve my sales. Those are the different areas that you will want to look at, and look at how you want to optimize those areas for your business. If you're looking at becoming a social media manager, imagine how that is. Social media manager, there's no university teaching that today, but that could be a six-figure job for you. What skills are required? I have them listed here for you: content creation capability and skills, analytics skills that you need. I have all of them on this screen for you. One thing that I feel everyone do today, whether you own a business, whether you don't, is you take stock of things that you do. So analytics has become a thing that has become a part of our life. How many hours do you spend on Instagram every day? You can take stock of that using analytics. If you're a business owner, really understanding the analytics will help you to determine where should you invest in your business. What should you do better? What is working? What is not working? Do you have redundant audience that has to be removed? Or analytics help you with those decisions? What do you need to really be able to have analytics skills? There are a couple of things that people learn out there. There are I won't be able to go into them, but if you're interested in understanding, I want to become a digital marketer. Maybe you don't need all of the numerous skills that are listed here, but at least you need to combine 2 or 3 of these to be a strong digital marketer and be competitive if you're looking to get a job or if you're looking to make your business stronger. All right, I want to go on into intelligent marketing. I don't have time, so I have to be fast here. I'm in manufacturing, and intelligent manufacturing is gradually becoming a part of our life. You're looking at a car here being built by robots. All the different robots have parts that they place into this car that is being built. Today on shop floors across America, this is not how our shop floors look like. Our shop floors have human beings instead of robots. These human beings place these parts there. They get paid. They have 2 to 3 shifts. It's expensive. If the human being is tired or they're having a bad day, what if they put a wrong part there? Intelligent manufacturing is really strengthening manufacturing. It's helping us understand easy optimization, transparency, proactive, it's agile, and it's just completely what we need. Here are some areas that today are getting a facelift when we're talking about manufacturing. Predictive machine analytics. This is very critical today on the shop floor, where you can manage what is going on with the machine and make prediction as to when should we do a maintenance for this machine. Augmented reality is helping us, especially in the supply chain area, to know what is the barcode on that product? Where exactly is it supposed to go to? Modular equipment. Okay, let me just move on. All right, if you're in manufacturing today, you are looking at the chart that explains what are the different areas that today we are working on to make sure that we meet Industry 4.0 requirements. Not all of these areas require coding. I do not code. So I am on the additive manufacturing front. You're an engineer, you don't code. You're a material scientist, you're a material engineer. Nano engineering, composite materials could be the area you want to look at. You're a simulation person, you do design, and you don't code. There are simulation tools that we're getting optimization on. You are very hands-on, you're an electrical engineer. You may want to look into the robotics and the IIoT area. You're a computer scientist. Yes, artificial intelligence, data analytics are still very, very relevant in the manufacturing industry. You're looking at all this chart, you're thinking, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. Let me tell you, that is no longer enough. Your degree in mechanical engineering with a major in design is no longer enough. All of us need to think about retraining, upskilling, and really thinking about which of these buckets can I fit based on my background. You cannot keep holding on to that mechanical engineering degree, my friend. We need to find what swim lane you begin or you belong to and help you really upskill in that area. That is the only way you will stay relevant because as you can see, do you see mechanical engineering here? No, it's no longer a specialization for the future of manufacturing. Here are those specializations that I want you to think about. I will move fast. I have a few slides on supply chain. Supply chain as we know it today, it's something that helps us manage it helps us manage our planning, our physical flow, maintenance, our performance management, our order management, and how we collaborate. Supply chain has gotten a facelift. It has gone from that into infusion of technology. Our planning is no longer just regular planning. It's now synchronized planning. Our development is no longer just development. It's using additive manufacturing to do digital development and what we call augmented reality. Our factories are no longer regular factories. As you saw previously, they have become automated factories called the lighthouse facilities. What are the different skills? What are the different areas? There are 6 major areas that are controlling supply chain today: data collection, assistance systems, data analytics, automatic systems, IT services, information exchange. All of these things that you see here are happening today when we're talking about supply chain. When you look at it, this doesn't look like supply chain. If you have a degree in supply chain, you know what I mean. This is not what they taught you in school, but this is what the future of supply chain look like. So myself and you need to find out what bucket here do I belong? Where exactly should I work on improving my skill set to be relevant for what is coming to us? Maybe I should stop here. I have slides for financial technology, which focus on fintech. Here is one slide showing you what fintech look like today. When we talk about fintech, people just think it's banking that we mean. We mean going to the bank, withdrawing some money. Fintech is not just banking. Fintech is way more than that. And maybe I should stop here. They told me I can come back on Tuesday if people want me to go on. And I'll take questions because it's 5:30.
Okay. Can you just relate this topic to, like you said, fintech and healthcare?
So this one is focusing on fintech. I actually have slides for digital healthcare that I didn't get to. So there is sorry?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say if you can just apply it a little bit to healthcare and also like fintech also, just to cover like some of the different career points that people who are on this call are on, so they can see how the topic kind of relates to their careers.
Okay, so when we talk about fintech, today people think it's just banking. As you see here, there are so many different companies that are now working with collecting payments. When you go on Amazon and you try to buy a product, usually there is a platform collecting payment that is not your bank. Somebody is using a platform on that your Amazon to collect payment. The different activities that we do, we are now using multidimensional approaches for collecting payments. So if you're on this call today, you have studied banking and finance, you've studied accounting, I want you to think about it. Which industry do I go? Where am I interested in? Are you interested in crowdfunding? Are you interested in retail investing? Where exactly do you go? Or where exactly are you wanting to focus on? Because if banking is all you have been focusing on, I want you to know that banking is not the only opportunity you have at the moment. Now, I have this chart here just to reiterate what the previous slide is showing, that 50% of all the fintech related activities are done using digital ecosystem platforms such as Google and Amazon. So if you're on this call today, you've studied something on finance and you're thinking the only opportunity you have is banking, a whole lot of finance related work are going on with all these big tech companies who have taken over 50% of our finance related work. So here are 7 areas where fintech is really thriving today, or areas that are using, areas of Industry 4.0 that we're using. Sorry, my husband is going back and forth and this is just affecting me. Mobile banking, biometrics, artificial intelligence, blockchain. I will repeat blockchain over and over again because blockchain is really helping us to make sure that everything we're doing is safe and transparent and secure. Anyone today thinking, I'm in finance, I want something extra on top of my finance to be relevant. This could be the area you want to look at. Yes, it has a little bit of IT in it. I think it's not a little bit, a whole lot of IT, but this is quite competitive and it's really a place that you could thrive. Big data application, data analytics, data science application to fintech is really one of the biggest right now. So if you're looking at, I want to upscale my finance degree, you may look at the prospect of adding big data or data analytics for a start to your career in finance to give it a facelift, because all of these different areas, they're here to stay and they will only become bigger. For healthcare, I believe a whole lot of Africans, we focus all our studies on medicine, finance, pharmacy, dentistry, and nursing. We do not connect the healthcare with the engineering side at all. I have a PhD in biomedical engineering, and I remember being asked over and over again, what is biomedical engineering? With Industry 4.0, there has to be a good relationship between the technical aspect and the service aspect of medicine, pharmacy, dentistry, and nursing. If you are in these spaces, the questions people have been asking me is computer going to take my job? I do not think so. I think we'll still need doctors. I think we'll still need pharmacists, but we will need them to utilize different tools that will be created, like electronic patient records. We will need them to be interacting with telemedicine related tools. We'll need them to have some digital related education for them to be able to handle what is going to be used. Yes, some jobs will be cut, but not all of them. There are two areas of healthcare, as you can see here. There is the service healthcare and there is the instrument healthcare on the tech side. For the service healthcare, here are some areas where we're getting transformation today. Data activation, workflow management, clinical trial is one of the hardest to do. Intelligent services, I want to say that I've been one of the beneficiary of intelligent services. One of the things that every consumer of healthcare is looking for today is we want personalized healthcare. We want to be in charge of our healthcare. I want to see what the value for my blood pressure is. I don't want somebody to just take it and they never tell me what it is. You do a whole body exam every year, and sometimes you don't even get a data back. People want to manage their own healthcare data. So for that reason, this model is something that is going to drive our healthcare. Now, on the future of healthcare when it comes to the engineering side, here are some of the areas where we're having innovation happening. Big data, like I said, people want personalized care. With big data, you can record your healthcare data in your house. It gets transmitted to your doctor's office. They see what is happening with you. Now, a whole lot of people work in the in care home, talking to patients and just dispensing medicine to patients. Chatbots are going to take those jobs when the time comes, or take part of those jobs. These are robots that interact with human beings, help them take their medication. And robotic medicine is another area where today it's very critical because we can't travel the way we used to travel. What if there's a robot somewhere in Africa and a doctor could sit here in the US and operate that robot and only need one nurse in an operating room? That is an area that is being worked on right now. So we can utilize one doctor for multiple different hospitals and not have to get them to travel to different places. Blockchain, very critical for data security. Virtual reality in healthcare to help us with different, when you have images of people's bodies, make decisions without having to operate human beings. E-health and telemedicine. During this COVID, we are using a whole lot of e-health and telemedicine where you call your doctor face-to-face to talk about the vitals that have been recorded on your phone and what next you should do. We have this e-pharmacy where they send you to the pharmacy without you coming to the hospital to just dispense your drugs there. All of this fall under e-health and telemedicine. Tissue engineering is an area where I studied for PhD, where we're trying to create human tissues from cells, and this is an area that is just here to stay. Gene editing, We call them designer babies, where people who have health conditions don't want their children to have those health conditions. So they want to take out those genes, they want to edit those genes to take out all the bad traits so their children can live better life. These are areas the scientists today are working on. What I'm saying here is there has to be an interaction between this part and this part. We can no longer have a medical doctor who cannot understand how to use this electronic patient record. We can no longer have a nurse who doesn't understand technology. It is important that if you're in healthcare services, that you start to think about a little bit of knowledge of data analytics, a little bit of knowledge of all of these different things we've been talking about, because they're critical for you to retain your job. Pamela, those are the two you asked me to talk about. I have a chat here for some of the areas that I talked about here. They're also here for anyone who is looking at, I want to change my career, I want a little more information. You can take a picture of this because it has text to help you with guidance. I will stop there because I think I was told to use 30 minutes and I feel like I've used more. I could keep going. I have more slides on different fields, but one question I want to ask you today is this. Are you comfortable where you are in your career? 3 years, 5 years from now, do you think you'll still be competitive? Do you think digitization is affecting your field? Are you seeing the effect based on the changes that is happening? Are you a part of that change? Or are you a spectator, just getting excited while some other people are doing the work and planting themselves in that digitization? For the next 50 years, Industry 4.0 will control how we do business. It will control how we live our lives. It will control how we interact with one another. It will control our health. Do you want to be a part of the pioneers of this area for your field? Or you want to be a spectator, just the same way Africans have watched. We watched in the era of Industry 1.0. We watched for 2.0. We watched for 3.0. All of this happened and Africa and Africans did not participate. With 4.0, we have a chance to be participants. We have a chance to be innovators. And I want to admonish you, you don't have to be a career person before you be at the forefront of this. And you don't have to be a professional. You can invent something. As you can see here, there is a buzz. People are inventing. Some people make billions of dollars jumping on this trend here. Are you jumping on that trend as an innovator? Or are you jumping on that trend as a professional just wanting a better paycheck? This is up to us as people to rethink our skill set today. I want you to get home today and look at your resume. I want you to go on Google and find out how this technology affects your field. If you need help, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Addy. You get me excited. This is so good. The information is so professionally presented. We could keep going. We would love to hear you speak more on all the different industries. This is such a robust presentation, but I will allow some people to chime in and ask a few questions. We could start with a few of the board members. I'll start with myself, just a comment. I'm in healthcare and I'm in robotic surgeries. And yes, I mean, they do the surgery within that little portal, but I never thought about it actually being in another actual area where they're actually doing the surgery. And you're right, the nurse will only be needed to facilitate the instruments. So just a really, really good points. Doyin, Funshaw, Pamela, do you want to, any comments or questions before we dive in?
I mean, this is a really great topic. It's given me a lot to think about. Like literally when you said everyone needs to review their resume and see where they fit in, I literally took that note. And now looking back on my CV, I'm going to look at it in a different light and say, what extra education can I get? Like just rethinking my career, because you are right. There are a lot of things shifting, and essentially from your presentation and what Deji said, we do have robotic surgeries. We are using telehealth. So there are a lot of things changing, and we want to make sure we're definitely pioneers and innovators and not being left behind. So definitely a great topic.
Thank you. And thank you, Deji, for saying that. I've never met a robotic surgeon or someone who worked there. So
No, you're speaking I mean, even the fact you're going across industries, almost like you're in it. It's very impressive. Everything you're saying is true. It's very relatable from the healthcare side. Very, very relatable. Doing Fushon, is there anything you want to, Ayo, is there anything you want to say before we get to the rest of the audience? No?
Does anyone have questions?
Yes, who has questions for our presenter?
Yeah, Dr. Addy, this is Aya Jones again. Yeah, this is very great. Now, one of the things that I had a friend, I'm in the oil and gas industry, been in the oil and gas about 15 years now. And I had a friend that was recently laid off. We're both in middle management, right? So you're a senior manager, director. And the funny thing is you're away from the actual work of designing, right? You're more managing people. So you start to lose some of your expertise, right? And then once you get laid off, you almost can't even compete with some of the guys that are still, in the trenches doing the designing, doing the engineering, because you've been doing nothing but just managing over the past 5-7 years, right? So if you don't, basically watch your career path, you might be left, without having any expertise to offer, rather than just managing people, right? So this is great knowing that, okay, I need to make sure that I put enough tools in my toolbox, because anything can happen anytime. I mean, you can manage 20 years and then let go because the company couldn't make anything, and then you find yourself wanting. So this is great presentation.
thank you.
Yes, hi, Dr. Addy. My name is Falake. I just wanted to make a quick comment. I'm in the healthcare field as well. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I actually recently completed a certificate in nursing informatics. Just because, everything you said with technology and telemedicine. And I believe that it definitely has thrust my career path a little forward too, because I was able to, get a promotion in which, sorry, the baby's crying, in which, I was able to use some of the skills that I learned getting the certificate. So, and, like now we're doing a lot of telemedicine and things like that. So my question is, I'm just trying to think what else, besides like telemedicine and robotics, if there's anything else, or how I can, I guess, maybe present myself to be more marketable, in the future and to be relevant.
I can talk to you on where do you want to go, right? What's your 5-year plan? Because that will help with, okay, here are some things that you can add to your toolbox. If you ask some people there, they love the nursing profession because the workaround. If you ask another person, they're thinking, 5 years from now, I don't want to be in the theater anymore. I'd like to know more as to where do you see yourself in 5 years, so we can talk about what are the strategies and skill sets that you should think of getting, because there are a couple of things that you can put in your portfolio on this.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Because in 5 years, I definitely want to be out of, like the bedside and do more. So, I definitely will be reaching out to you to talk more about that. Thank you so much.
And congratulations on your promotion.
Thanks.
Please, anybody who has questions, don't hesitate to chime in. We have a professional career planner in front of us now. So if there's any career advice you want to share, or just
I have a question.
I have a question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's
Sorry.
fine. That's fine.
Sorry, I have a question. I know we've been talking about health care, but I am an educator, and right now many people are going into remote learning, and we have to learn technology, Zoom and all that. Do you have any idea? Thank you for this, because this has opened my eyes, and I'm definitely going to do research. I need to prepare myself. But is there any advice you have for an educator like me, like a teacher like me?
So somebody commented when I put this out on social media, and she talked directly to educators, talking about, for educators, there are a couple of things to look at. Now that we have education shifting to online, there is opportunity beyond what you do right now. A whole lot of people, a lot of schools are looking for curriculum creators who can create online curriculums, and they're looking for course creators that is beyond what you do in class, because digital is different. So if you're an educator, you're looking for, I'm seeking, I want to make more money. They're looking for, that's an avenue there. Education management, looking at analytics, because people need to evaluate the performance of this online learning. We want to be able to see how are people interacting. So analytics is going to really play a whole lot of role in monitoring how are people responding, all the students calling in at the right time, are they submitting their work? That's another one that I can think of right now. I actually have a list of a couple of skill sets that educators should get. And yeah, those two came to mind right now. If you contact me later, I can send you the list. I think I have 6 skills. Content management for curriculums is critical. Evaluation using analytics is critical. Those two I can give right on top of my head, but I can send you a list with 6 skills that I put together that educators should think about, especially because we're transforming into remote learning. And this is not only for now, but for the future, there's going to be more. As you know, right now, a whole lot of people create courses online. So when they want to create courses, they need educators to look at the courses and say the course flows well and stuff like that. So course creation is a thing for education too, beyond just creating curriculums for schools, creating courses and making money off that, because a whole lot of people are trying to create courses. I've had people say they charge $3,000, $5,000 to just create course. They're not the ones teaching the course. They just guide you to create the courses. Who should be benefiting from that if not educators who have been educating for years, right? So I can send you the list of 6 areas that I feel like educators can benefit beyond just teaching in class, if you want it.
Yes, I do. Thank you so much.
And hi, this is Bidemi.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
All right, everyone.
Okay.
Sorry. Let me chime in. Let me come in for a second. This is how we're going to do this. Okay. All right. So please, if you have questions, please message me on the chat, or you can raise your hand, and I'll try to facilitate things as smooth as possible. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Clifford had a question. He said, during the presentation, you said that Africans haven't participated in Industry 1.0 through 3.0 as opposed to other areas in the world. What do you think is the primary reason why this was the case?
One of the cases is our education has been Eurocentric. So we thought those things were not meant for us. We're not meant to be the participants who create them. We thought we're just meant to benefit from a whole lot of that, because the education we got showed that white people are the ones who created pretty much everything. And we live in this part of the world now where we understand that that is not true. We can participate in this Industry 4.0, so we need to take advantage of that. That's one. Another thing is we've been limited in terms of resources, especially for someone like me who had my university education in Nigeria. A whole lot of the things we learned were very theoretical. We weren't taught critical thinking. We weren't taught design thinking. We weren't given all the elements that we needed to be creators and innovators and inventors. We were given the things we needed to become employees. We've come to this part of the world. Some people were born in this part of the world. Critical thinking is now a thing that we all have. That means we have opportunity to think beyond what we were given. We can create, we can innovate. So I feel those two has played a role, the Eurocentric education and the fact that critical thinking and design thinking and innovation weren't something that that was part of curriculums that we got for those of us who grew up back home. But we are now here. We have opportunities to change that thanks to virtual learning, thanks to opportunity to have access to different data that has made us seen that Africans actually could innovate, Black people could innovate, and innovation has just fallen on our lap. I think we can jump right in and do better. Does that help answer the question?
Yes, yes. Okay, so I see some raised hands. Let me get to the raised hands, and then I'll get to the BDME and the another and BDME on the chat. So Ayo, did you still have a question, Ayo?
Hi, I don't have a question. I have more like a statement. Can you
Okay,
guys hear me?
sure. Go ahead.
Yes. So yes, this is Ayo Akinfolie. I work at Cerner, I guess you could say the biggest EHR company in the whole world. So one thing I just wanted to emphasize is exactly what Adela said, which is the importance of IT. So one of the next steps that Cerner seems to be investing quite a lot of money on is population health management. Um, Population health management essentially, is, I'm sure most of you have probably heard about it. I think I've certainly talked to Pam about it before. Certainly is being able to gauge where the next, so you have, for example, sepsis diagnosis or high blood pressure, being able to see in a locality your patients. Like all of a sudden, within the past 6 months or a year, there's Black women above 35 have high blood pressure or fibroids or whatever in a particular location, and now working together with the case management team or public health to figure out how you're going to get those people well, right? So that's kind of population health management, and COVID expedited that transition. So for those, in the clinical side of things, if I would encourage you guys to look at that. Obviously, not just only at Cerner, but in terms of where you want to go with your career. And I say all of that to say, because IT is all about IT, data. There is no way you're going to know where a patient lives if you don't know how to manipulate the data. Okay. I personally, earlier this year, created a dashboard on Power BI that I taught myself. I started learning Microsoft Power BI, which is a data visualization tool. And I was just playing with some data at work, and I was able to chart for one of my hospitals all their COVID claims, all their COVID patients. I could tell them exactly what zip code all their COVID patients live, and it's all because of the code on their claim, right? So again, I say all that just to emphasize the importance of IT. I did show my dashboard to my manager, and they were quite surprised what I was able to do based on the amount of the limited data that I have. I have data because I can pull the data, but imagine what the engineers have access to. I don't have access to the database. I can't manipulate the database. All I could do is just run a report and get reports and export it to Excel, then do Excel wizardry with it. But imagine what people that can get into the back end, they can do all of that stuff. There is definitely strong, or should I say, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of data in healthcare. It is, I'm telling you, this is what I do on a daily basis, and I encourage you all to definitely look into it. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's here to stay.
Thank you, Al. Thank you. Yeah, if I get $1 each time I heard data, I'll be rich. I mean, data, they say, is the new currency. Yeah. So I absolutely agree with you. I thank you for your input in the healthcare field. We're going to go to a Miss Uba and then Alozie. Are you still there? Miss Uba? Let me see if you're unmuted. You need to get unmuted. Okay, we'll go to Alozie. Are you there? Kalechi?
Yes, I'm there. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I want to say thank you for the opportunity and platform. And my question is, I'm currently working in a bank as a salesperson, a relationship officer, and I have a my first degree is marketing. I really want to get an idea and advice on how I can actually add tech to what I'm currently doing now, or how I can find my career, a change in my career into the 4.0, because I've realized it's where the future is going. For someone to be relevant in 5-10 years to come, data is really where everyone, the world is going. So I really want to know how I can add tech to what I have currently. Thank you.
So what you do right now, you work in a bank and you do customer management or customer relations?
Yes, customer management.
Okay, so I put this slide back up because I had a whole slide for digital marketing. When we're thinking about digital marketing, what comes to mind is these things that I'm showing. A whole lot of time you're thinking, how do I convert the people who visits my website to sales? If I have a website, how does my landing page looks like? Looking at skill sets, here are the skill sets that I suggested that people who are thinking about digital marketing should look like. Analytic skills, which could be, some of them could be related to creating dashboards. It could be more than that. Mobile marketing, content marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, marketing automation using MailChimp, sending emails to people and really tracking how many people open the emails. And when they open it, how long did they stay on that? That's, SEO management to make sure that every time someone is looking for content related to this product, they're looking for it. My website is the first one that comes up for it to be seen. Digital advertising. Here are the major skills today. If you're looking to get into digital marketing that is bringing money, I broke it down a little further to say, if you want to do social media, here are the skill sets you need to learn as a social media marketer. And I still have a few things here for anyone thinking digital marketing, what should I do if they can't see this properly? Here is another slide on analytics for digital marketers. Creating dashboards, Google Analytics, different dashboards are possible today. Power BI, Tableau, Excel dashboards, all of those dashboards. You need to learn how to do those things. You need to learn how Google Analytics work. New leads, how to generate new leads, how to run campaigns. Here are good information. If you're thinking, I want to get into digital marketing, you can pick two to three of these skill sets. Invest time in now narrowing down for those 3 swim lanes or functional areas. Let me call them functional areas. If you choose analytics as a functional area, you need this picture. If you choose social media as a functional area, you need the skill sets right here in here, right? If you choose email marketing, it has this as a functional area. There are also the skills that you need. So you need to think through, which of these areas do I really want to deep dive in and become an expert in? We live in a system that you can't be a jack of all trades. You have to be specialized in something. So if you want to be a digital marketer, you need to choose 2 to 3 of these functional areas and be specialized in that area or those areas, knowing the skill sets that each of those functional areas will need and learning them and adding them to your portfolio as an area where you are 60 to 80% confident that if they give you a task, you'll be able to deliver. I hope that has helped you to understand what you need to do if you're trying to transition into full-time digital marketer.
Yeah, it has. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we're going to go to Bidemi and then G-Day. They had questions on the chat. Bidemi, are you there? It said it was a follow-up to on education and tech.
Yes, that's me. Sorry, I'm here. I think I just wanted to follow up to what I think it was Adenika, what she was saying in regards to education. I hope I didn't forget majority of what I was going to say, but I believe what I was going to say was in line with, because I think her original question was kind of about how can she kind of expand in her role. And being where we are now, I'm a behavior analyst. So my population is children with developmental disabilities and autism. And right now, the school system is essentially failing them, right? Because COVID happened, everybody's doing remote learning, but this learning is not really individualized to them. So a lot of parents, especially parents that are very hands-on, they're starting to see that, you know, the school system may not be providing them with the education and or services that they need. So a couple of the things that I was going to say is when it comes to, I didn't care, you just being a little bit more marketable or just looking for other opportunities outside of being, you know, an educator. I think what Dr. Addy said is true when it comes to essentially creating curriculums. And something that I see kind of that's going to get bigger in the future in this general field is going to be homeschooling. Not just for typical developing children, but for children on the spectrum and or with developmental disabilities. I see homeschooling being a big thing. There was something going on social media talking about how this is really the biggest time for teachers to really, you know, get the pay bump that they need, because we know the school system doesn't necessarily reward you guys monetarily, but in a situation like this where your service is highly, highly valuable, and you know, this comes from someone where I work with parents on a day-to-day basis, and I hear them complaining over and over and over about, you know, what they have to go through. This is a time when you can provide your services at a rate that is actually going to be worth what your experience is bringing to the table. You know, so if you want to provide your services on an hourly base for parents, whether that be in person or remote, I think this is the perfect time to do that. A second thing is a lot of people, including myself, we're going online and we're looking for resources to better support our parents in supporting their child, or vice versa. So some of the online resources that we're tapping into, and me myself, I'm not, believe it or not, like I'm not really a techno savvy person, but because of remote learning and everything that's going on, this is an area of myself that I need to work on and I need to build on in order to make sure that my skill set remains relevant in the field as I continue to grow in the field. So as you're building curriculums, or if that's something that you decide to do, some sites that are currently being used, Boom Cards is a site that's currently being used for educational resources and essentially curriculums. People build them and then they put their curriculum on that system. And then people like me who can't build curriculums, we go in there and we choose what it is we want for our clients or our students, and we put it together. And then we have parents work on it with them, and it gives automatic like feedback and correction and things like that. Teacher Pay Teacher is another online system that I know I've been trying to utilize a little bit more. Google Classroom, that's also another system that we're trying to use a little bit more to better educate our kiddos, or you know, our students when it comes to more one-on-one remote learning, as well as parents too. Because right now this is a time where parents are really being very hands-on with their child's education. And I've worked with, you know, some Nigerian families, and I've worked with some, you know, American families and Indian families and African-American families. And I have a moral obligation to my people, right? To the Nigerian families that I serve, where I want to make sure that they fully understand what it is they're into and what kind of services is available for their child and whether or not they're being treated fairly. I live in PG County in Maryland, you know, and that's something that I have to teach my families. It's like, listen, this is what they're saying, but is it really what they're doing? But not to go too far, but I just wanted to mention some of those resources as just somewhere where you can kind of build your skill set and decide to do some different things outside of maybe you teaching, but still remaining kind of like relevant in the field and kind of pushing in this new era that we're in. And then also making sure that you are monetizing yourself or your work in this moment, because this is the best time to really kind of explore those options. But if you need any more help or additional just resources or anything like that, feel free to reach out, and I can also kind of help out with providing you some additional information.
Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
That's excellent information. You might need your own presentation. You got a lot of more. You have some other resources. You're opening up some more doors, if you will. So that's beautiful. We have a few more questions. We're slowly winding down. G-Day on the chat, I could either say, are you there? Because I could either say the question or you could get on the chat. G-Day, Alo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. What was your question?
So my question is basically, Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my question is basically comparing two pathways to getting this skill set. I'm actually considering which pathway is will you advise one go through? Is it the pathway of the master's or PhD, or actually getting certifications that would be better? So I would like to know your opinion on which pathway is better to acquire this skill set. This is the master PhD pathway or certification pathway. Thank
What
you.
are you trying to build on? What is your field?
Okay, currently I'm in the healthcare field, or not precisely, I'm in the pharmacy line. So I'm trying to add like you advise tech to it. So I'm kind of in between two opinions, two options to which path to actually take.
Okay, so I still don't have the big picture of what are you trying to add, but this is what I have to say to all of us on the call today who are Africans. Sometimes what you need to add is not another degree. Sometimes what you need to add is not a certification. What you need to add is skills, skills, skills. Please do not get a certification if that's not going to strengthen your skills. Because what I see Africans do, go on LinkedIn, you'll get this. On LinkedIn, when you look at our profiles, behind our names, you see PhD, PMP, PPP, PM, you see all these certifications, and yet you are still not getting paid. Why? Because the skill set is what they pay for. Skills trump certifications. In some cases, skill also trump that education that you want to get. So please, before you decide that you want to go get another degree, first of all, we need to think about what would that degree offer you? What are you looking to add? Is it just 3 skill sets that you need to add? Maybe you can get them on Udemy. Maybe you can pay a coach to teach you that skills and you'll be good, and that's all you need. Ayo just told us how he self-taught himself Power BI, and he's cashing in on 6 figures. He didn't have to get another degree. And I have seen people had 10 certifications to their portfolio. They still didn't get to where they need to go. So first, we need to narrow down to what exactly should you add to your pharmacy career. And now once we know those, we will now look at what are the pathway to getting them. Is it certifications? Is it another degree? Or is it just getting a skill on Udemy and you'll be good? My people, I am tired of us getting PhDs when we don't need them. Before you make a decision that you want to get a PhD, don't get that PhD for your family. You need to get it for you. It needs to be necessary for the future of work. These industries that we are in, they're skills driven. They're not certificate driven. So let's take note that skills is really what we're looking for. I can keep talking about this because I'm just tired of people having a PhD and they still don't have a career. Right. So I hope.
Amen. I think we all know people like this. This is a great answer, by the way. Thank you for that. Just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to get a few more questions in.
Okay.
Dr. Addy. So I have Kofo on. Kofo has a question. How can accountant diversify into industry 4.0? Kofo, are you there to elaborate? And after Kofo, we'll go to Blessing, who has her hand up.
Okay, so accountant has a couple of different pathways. Fintech is one of the areas. So a whole lot of time I've seen accountant wanting to look at the area of data analytics to add to their career, to be stronger in that area. But there are other areas that accountants can look at also, but it depends on where exactly are you trying to focus on. I feel like Industry 4.0, as we rightly mentioned, there are 9 pathways. There is still the blockchain section, which can help with personalizing banking, mobile banking, that somebody in fintech can look at, right? There is the data analytics portion that you can look at. There is the cloud computing area that you can look at, but we need to kind of look at what exactly interests you, right? What is your interest like before we say, maybe is data analytics, big data, or business analytics area, or before we say it's the blockchain area that is suitable for you. without seeing your resume, I may not be able to give you a direct answer, but there are a couple of routes there. Under this fintech, there is the use of AI. There is the use of so many other different things as part of those 9 swim lanes. I just probably should put the 9 swim lane up. So if anyone is looking at what is it that I mean? So here are the 9 swim lanes. For service industry, big data and analytics is big, cybersecurity is big, cloud computing is big, and you don't have blockchain on here because it falls under those, is a subsection, but those are the areas that today, for anyone in fintech could look at and say, I want to upskill. Based on your interest, where you see yourself in 5 years, how you want your career to take up, and how much effort do you want to put in. I always say to people, there is career transitioning and there is a build up, right? Career transitioning is I'm adding at least 50% tech to my career. And there is the build up of I only just need 20 to 30 extra and I'll be good. So you need to decide how far do you want to go? Then we can look at the options.
Thank you, Dr. Addy. So we have two last questions. We're going to go to Blessing, who's raised her hand, and then we'll go to Oluchi. We'll go to Eze. Eze Linda will follow Blessing. And then just so everyone knows, it's obvious we need a part 2 of this. Data, technology as signal handily just prevented the collapse of the stock market. It's just obvious we need to have a further discussion on this. So with that being said, 2 more questions. Blessing, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Addy, for doing this. And I kind of agree with Deji that we need a part 2 of this. So my question is this. I'm also a biomedical engineer and I work in the pharmaceutical manufacturing. There are actually some situation just whereby you actually need a PhD to get a particular role, even if you have all the skills. A PhD, without a PhD, you can't get the role in. I just listened to some company might take you, but it would still take a longer time. If you find yourself in that kind of situation, what else can you do if you don't want to get a PhD?
So I am a biomedical engineer like you, and I have a PhD because our field requires a PhD for you to thrive. Not every field requires that, but biomedical is very specialized, is research driven and research focused. Because of that, there is only a very small portion of it that doesn't require that. If you look at biomedical, it encompasses biotechnology, bioinformatics, medical physics. All of these are very concentrated and very just concentrated tech. It's unfortunate, but the reality is, if you want to really have something, a contribution in biomedical, a PhD may be looking at you. But all I always advocate for is make sure you are sure that a PhD is a deal breaker. In my case, it was a deal breaker. I had to get it. If it's a deal breaker, you're just going to be trying to cut corners if you don't want to get it, because it's just what it is for biomedical. 80% of the different swim lanes just require that PhD for you to get to that point where you can make contributions and people will trust it, because we're dealing with human lives.
Yeah.
Needs that PhD. It's just, sorry.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because I kind of pursue a particular role, and at the end, everybody was at my back, but the only thing standing was you have all the skill set, you have a master's degree, you need a PhD to be able to sign for a particular thing, else FDA won't take it. And it just...
You do clinical trials and you have to interface with FDA and Health Canada and stuff like that. You got to have that PhD.
All right, thank you. Thanks.
Sorry.
So much.
So, okay, great. Okay. So we're at the last question with Eze, but unfortunately we have to close now, but I have some good news. Dr. Addy is a member of ABC. She's a career planning professional. This is advice that costs people triple digit per hour consultations, okay? So this is someone that's here helping us. This is someone here that's of service to us. So don't hesitate to reach out to her. Don't hesitate to join ABC so she could either help you directly in the meantime, okay? So with that being said, we're at the last question. Eze, Linda, are you there? Eze? All right, so Eze's not here, so I'm gonna go to Oluchi.
I'm here.
Oh, Eze's here, okay, Eze, okay, oh wow. Get your consultation.
I wouldn't miss it.
All right, great, go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm currently in the UK doing my master's in business analytics. So, and I would also want to build a career in the same field. So I wouldn't know the advice you give me. After my master's, I would like to be a business analyst. Is there a particular skill that I would need to achieve that?
Okay, I'm just going to read it out. Just give me a second. I have a list. So business analytics is very exciting. It's an exciting time for people who are doing analytics. And I feel like there are a couple of tools that you may want to look at. So I wrote down for business analytics, reporting tools. You need those BI tools, Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, Data Studio, Power Studio, Domo, SOP, Oracle, Cognos.
Yeah.
Data analytics too, you need our language, Spark, SAS, SPSS, Python, and Java. If you really want data business analytics certification, you need to get IIBA. That is one that requires certification, not really requires, but it takes you to the next level, right? But you should, I feel like before you go get the certification, you should get all these skills first. You need to understand how Google Analytics work. It's very important. If you want to take it to the point of data science a bit, you may want to have software engineering methodologies like waterfall, screen design tools, ERP systems, HTML5, Visual Basic. Yeah, all right. I hope that has helped. Excel, advanced Excel analytics, absolutely a must under the analytics tools. I have a list that I put down or collated over time for those people who are thinking, this is how I see business analytics. Business analytics is hot right now. There was a point where project management was hot. If you get a project management certification and you have the tools, you get this six-figure jobs. Over time, that slowed down. I have a notion that over time, business analytics may no longer be a six-figure job. You need to look at how do I build from business analytics to data analytics and hopefully to data science? Because there is a path there that you can keep building. So I don't that business analytics skill sets and feel like I should just be complacent. I think you can do that as a career entry, get into your career and start to build towards data analytics, build toward data science, and if possible, build towards machine learning. There is a path there that you can keep rising so that you will stay relevant. So even if it's turning to that point where it's no longer, everybody now is a BA, you are a BA with class because you're no longer a BA, you're a BA with data analytics skill set, or at that point, you're a data scientist focusing on big data, or you have even migrated to machine learning. Okay. I want you to think about putting this together as maybe a 5-year roadmap. And after your master's, get a job and keep building up. And hopefully this really make you stay relevant as we move towards, as we move on in this 50-year journey, 100 years journey.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm going to, I'll let Pamela go, and I'm go in conclusion of our discussion. Thank you everyone for the questions. Any final remarks, Pamela? No?
No, just a